Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and you are watching TTV News with some latest events in the province. And now we come into details. Ladies and gentlemen, on April 11, the Bronzo General Hospital completed the discharge procedure for patient number 2,489 infected with COVID-19 in Vietnam, and was the 17th patient isolated and treated in Tay Ninh.
Patient number 2,489, born in 1969, lives in Trường Tây, Hoa Thanh Thao, Tay Ninh province. The patient was admitted and treated at the isolation area of the Department of Infectious Disease of Tay Ninh General Hospital on March 4, 2021. During the treatment process, the patient's heart was stable. The result of lung radiography is also normal. The real-time PCR test for SARS-CoV-2 conducted at Pasteur Institute in Ho Chi Minh City yielded negative results for 3 consecutive times. According to those results, the patient number 2,489 is qualified for discharge from March 27. However, according to the Ministry of Health regulations on continuing quarantine under the supervision of the grassroots health facilities and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention for an additional 14 days for the patient after treatment, the General Hospital has encouraged patients to continue monitoring the health at the Department of Infectious Disease for another 14 days and obtain the patient consent. Testing so far has successfully cured 17 out of 35 cases of COVID-19 recorded in the province, and no repositive case for SARS-CoV-2 has been reported after treatment.
3 rounds of negotiation with 5 steps in the election of Deputy to National Assembly and People Council at all levels for the 2021-2026 term are a very important period for the selection of candidates. The whole Tay Ninh province has completed the first and second negotiation conference. The third step has been also completed in the negotiation process as scheduled. The Vietnam Farm Wrong Committee at all levels have also coordinated to implement step 4, collecting comments and confidence from the voters at their residence for the candidates, preparing for the 5th step, the third negotiation conference.
Mr. Nguyễn Văn Vi, Vice Chairman of the Vietnam Fatherland Rent Committee of Tay Ninh Province, said that the steps to prepare for the election are in accordance with the prescribed process and schedule. The third negotiation meeting is also the 5th step and the final round of negotiation to select and make the official list of the eligible candidates. No later than April 23, 2021, it means 30 days before the election date. The Vietnam Fatherland Rent Standing Committee at provincial level sends the minutes of the third negotiation conference and the list of qualified persons to run for deputies to the People's Council at the provincial level, to National Election Council, Standing Committee of National Assembly Government, Central Committee of Vietnam Fatherland Rent and Standing Committee of People's Council, Election Commission at the same level, the Vietnam Fatherland Rent Standing Committees at district and commune levels, sends minutes to the third negotiation meeting and a list of qualified candidates to run for People's Council deputies at the same level to the standing committees of the People's Councils, People's Committee, Vietnam Fatherland Rent Committees at direct superior levels, and the standing committees of the People's Councils and election commissions at the same level. Despite the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, in the first 3 months of 2021, the revenue from the activities of accommodation, food and beverage, and travel services in the province still reached over 4,500 billion Vietnam dong, increasing 8.94% over the same period in 2020. In which the revenue of the food and beverage service sector accounted for the highest proportion, reaching 2,553 billion Vietnam dong, up over 15%. Accommodation service reached over 45 billion Vietnam dong, also increasing by 8.3%. Particularly, other consumption services reached 1,914 billion Vietnam dong, up 1.4%. In general, the activities of accommodation, food and beverage services in the first 3 months of 2021 in the province increased over the same period. Since the beginning of the year, Tay Ninh has not recorded any new cases of COVID-19 in the community, so the activities have been still quite normal. However, due to psychological fear and not subjected to the epidemic, these activities have been limited, so the accommodation, food and beverage services have not shown signs of complete recovery. In the first quarter of 2021, the People's Committee of Tay Ninh City collected the state budget as planned. The total state budget revenue was estimated at more than 224 billion Vietnam dong, reaching 32.75% of the estimate assigned by the province and city, up 5.50% over the same period. State budget expenditure was estimated at more than 103 billion Vietnam dong, reaching 11.07% of the estimate assigned by the province and city, up 0.94% over the same period. The work of compensation and site clearance has had many positive changes. The payment of compensation and support is more than 362 million Vietnam dong. 497 business registration dossiers were received and processed by that time, with a total registered capital of more than 121 billion Vietnam dong, an increase of 6% over the same period. Thanh Tay and Bình Minh communes have been maintained to reach new style rural standards and develop plans for Bình Minh commune toward reaching the standards of new style rural communes. The application for consideration and recognition of Tân Bình commune to meet the new style rural standard has been also completed. In addition, the rural traffic and solar energy lights have been tracked and put into use in 3 communes in the area. The preparation for the election of deputies to the 15th National Assembly and People's Councils at all levels for the 2021-2026 term has been well implemented, ensuring efficiency and progress on time. Recently, the Bank for Social Policies of Bến Cầu District, coordinated with the People's Committee of Dien Thuận commune, has disbursed 14.7 billion Vietnam dong to 329 households, in which there are 170 households of Farmers Association, 131 households of Women Association, 8 households of Veterans, and 20 households of the Youth Union. It includes loans for programs of clean water and environmental sanitation, the poor, new poor, and poverty newly escaped households, students, households doing business in disadvantaged areas. On average, each household can borrow 40 million Vietnam dong with interest rates from 0.55% to 0.75% per month.
Ladies and gentlemen, checking the electoral roll is one of the important steps of the process of preparing for the election of the deputy to the 15th National Assembly and People Council at all levels for the 2021-2026 term. The locality have been conducting this work in an urgent and thoughtful manner so that on April 13, they can support the list of voters by law. In order to do this well, the police force of communes, wards, and towns has played an active role in reviewing the exact local electoral roll.
Implementing the direction of the Provincial Election Commission in the electoral work, especially monitoring, adjusting the electoral roll whenever there is a change in voters or moving to another place. Before the election day, it is necessary to review the electoral roll, make sure the number of voters present in the locality on the election day to serve as a basis for calculating the rate of voter turnout. It is also necessary to have a plan to protect the posted electoral roll and have a backup list to supplement and replace when necessary. Like other localities, Tân Biên District has focused on tracking and making the electoral roll, such as organizing a census on population, household registration, temporary residence and absence in the area, coordinating with groups to track the number of voters, especially temporary voters voters to on the list and informing about the voters participating in the voting at the temporary residence or the permanent residence registration place to exercise their right to vote. District police compare with the management software of population and household registration of the units being managed. On that basis, we listed out and coordinated with the voters subcommittee of communes and towns, coordinated with branches to review each self-governing group to identify voters who are present or absent in the locality, and from there we list according to the set items. Up to this point, the preparation for the election in Tân Bình district has basically been completed, but the review continues to be conducted until 24 hours before voting. If there are changes in voters permanently residing in the locality, the police force of the communes and town will supplement this electoral roll. No later than April 13, 2021, 40 days before the election day, the agency making the electoral rolls must post them at the headquarters of the Communal People's Committee and at public places of the voting areas. In order to make progress as well as to review and make a list of voters must be 100% accurate without missing any cases that voters are not able to exercise their electoral rights. The Commune Police Force has tried its best to how to rush and timely supplement if cases are not included in the electoral roll because they have moved out of the locality or due to force majeure clause. The officials in self-governing residential groups are also local people, so the management of local demographics is also tight. We send the police along with the self-governing teams to directly come to each house, thereby giving a specific list of each person present in the locality, making a list as required by the election commissions. The second advantage is that at this time, in parallel with citizenship identification, we come to each home to carry out election propaganda as well as voter review, combined with grasping the security and other situation. The people are very supportive, interested, and enthusiastic in providing relevant information to the police force. The review and statistics of the electoral roll have been done carefully and seriously. Through the review and statistics, the number of voters in Thanh Tay commune aged 18 or over is 9,994 people, and there are 9,410 people eligible to vote in 6 polling areas in the commune. In addition, for voters temporarily residing in the area, the police force, together with the locality, shall thoroughly guide the electoral methods and the polling places so that voters can participate in the election in the most favorable manner. After completing the review, the electoral roll will be officially posted at the headquarters of the People's Committees of communes and in the polling areas, ensuring completion on schedule. In addition, the locality is also actively promoting propaganda through many different means such as loudspeakers, meetings of party shows, community activities, etc. about the meaning of the election. Thereby, it has contributed to ensuring that all citizens who are 18 years of age or older and meet all the conditions prescribed by law do well exercise their right to elect worthy people, representing the will, aspiration, and ownership of the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for joining with us and see you next time.